12 years ago, on this date when this video is uploaded, Arthur's Missing Pal was released on DVD on a typical Tuesday in 2006. And this day is the 12-year anniversary. Yay! To celebrate, we decided to release this sort of review of this movie. Instead of taking turns with ordinary Viv about this movie, I will be in full control of this review, due to shortening the time length, but mostly ordinary Viv isn't in the right state of mind to be part of this after she watched it. I don't know if I should love it, hate it, or like it. Lucky for me, this movie has a mystery element genre woven into the story. As Spy Viv, I'm going to step aside from my written personality for a minute. I watched this movie when I was little. I don't think I had a negative opinion about it, I just liked it. I didn't mind the computer animation or noticed how terrible it was. I did notice the different voice actors for the usual characters though, and I think that threw me off a little bit. I forget if I first watched this when it aired on TV or when it came out on DVD, but I do remember seeing the trailer of it. I liked it when I was little, and I probably rewatched it a few times, and then rewatching it again years later. How do I feel? I have no answer. The answer is currently up in the air, but finding the answer isn't going to be the main part of this review. It's just going to be a review, like any other. This movie was written by Ken Scarborough, directed by Yvette Kaplan, and everyone else who is responsible for creating this movie. Now let's get started. A butterfly directs us through this CGI world of a small part of Elwood City to Arthur's house, and through Arthur's window. Arthur decides to sleep in as his movie begins. How rude. Arthur, get up! No, not this. Things start to get intense for some reason. We don't know why yet. And there is Buster with rollerblades. For no other reason except for comic relief, because it's never explained why he wears them. Eventually, Arthur wakes up at... Oh, what do you know? 12 minutes later. Meanwhile, downstairs, DW finds all the puzzle pieces from the newspaper in order to win tickets to a Mary Moo Cow ice show. The disgust for Mary Moo Cow got Pal to be tricked into taking a heartworm pill. Then the chaos of Buster Baxter, the comic relief, is released into the kitchen. After the chaos has ended, Buster reminds Arthur about the water balloon fight, making Arthur forget to feed Pal. The water balloon fight has begun and Pal is still hungry. He drinks some water that makes him need to go outside. Arthur and Buster hide safely behind a bush. Arthur asks Brain if there is any sign of Foxtrot, also known as Francine. Francine is spotted dressed like a pizza delivery person ready to attack. Personally, I think she needs a better disguise. Brain warns Arthur and Buster, giving them the upper hand to surprise attack Foxtrot. But Pal finds Arthur and it ruins his chances. And then... oh, it's over? Why? Is it because every last water balloon has been thrown? The rules weren't established or anything. At the Sugar Bowl, Arthur remembers that he needs to walk Pal. And surprised when Arthur gets home, Pal is missing. It wasn't much of a surprise. The title spoils the whole plot of the movie. After Buster's freak out about this, and says some funny comedic stuff, everyone starts searching for Pal, and afterwards, Buster comes back with his detective stuff, and his rollerblades, and his comic relief. Back at Arthur's house, DW starts acting suspicious, and she continues to be suspicious as she tries to help. They interrogate her and gather some information from her of what happened, but her story doesn't add up. Later on, they search some more as Pal enjoys himself, and they keep missing each other, until Pal dies. Don't worry, there's no way they're gonna kill off Pal, especially before the halfway point of the movie. Pal survives, but he loses his collar in the process. DW wins her Ice Nice Mary Moo Cow thing. Meanwhile, Arthur and Buster are at a dead end, and Buster comes to the conclusion that he's a bad detective. From all his past attempts at guessing the culprit while watching crime mysteries with Arthur, instead of when he solved the missing quarters mystery, and the mystery of who was writing the name Binky on the outside of the school walls. But then a clue appears of pink ice creamy paw prints over the tracks of a ice cream truck, which leads to the conclusion of
Pal learned to drive!
What? No. Good guess, though. They find Pal at last until they lose him again. Back at home, Buster finds another clue of why Pal went missing, of Arthur forgetting to feed Pal, which makes him feel even worse. Later that night, Arthur is full of sorrow and asks out loud, "Where are you, Pal?" It's him! But how did he get up there? Is he dead? Is Arthur dreaming? Is this all in his imagination? Seriously, what is going on? Did the stars come alive or something? How come Arthur, Buster, and Pal can see this if this is just in their imaginations? The next day, they go to the ice cream factory, and they are greeted by a robot controlled and voiced by the owner of the factory, who tell them to go away and that there wasn't any dog here. Arthur and Buster find a clue that Pal was in fact here, and they talk to the owner again, and they were let inside and discovered what happened to Pal last night by the surveillance footage, and they leave. They go to a restaurant nearby, and they learn from the owner that Pal was found by a nice truck lady that he knows. She decides to keep him and take him across the country to a few cities. But the owner doesn't know where she could be. Arthur starts to believe that he is a terrible dog owner and gives up searching for Pal. All ends with the heartworm pills Pal has to take, or else he'll get sick. Now they need to figure out the relation of the places the truck lady was heading to. Huntington, Tangleberry, and Washington, D.C. What could it be? I wonder. Oh, what a surprise. Oh wait, it isn't, because it was already shown where Pal is when... I know this is supposed to be a kid's film, but please. The answer to this shouldn't have been revealed to the audience. But it's fine. It wasn't supposed to be a mystery movie. But wait, it is. But I'm just saying, it should have been. Long story short, Arthur gets Pal back, and it's revealed that it was DW's fault that Pal went missing. But it wasn't an evil scheme of hers or anything. She was just being a nice person and let him outside. And then the movie ends a minute later. The end. I don't get it. Why are you so confused about your feelings about this film? It's not that good. I know. After it ended, I wanted to see more. More adventures in this CGI world. Even though it wasn't that good. Yeah, but I think that's why I'm so confused with how I feel about this movie. I wish it could be better. There are a few things that I like, mostly the funny parts with Buster and DW, and especially that sassy moment DW had, and also the lovable moments Arthur and Pal had. There was one part that I didn't understand that DW kept doing. She kept trying to convince Arthur to go to this ice show, and thinking that he would want to go see it. That was kind of stupid of her. And the animation it's not the best. It's not Pixar quality. Is it better than the Flash animation the show recently provides to the audience? Sort of. But I wouldn't want the rest of the show to look like this if they ever change the animation again. I wouldn't want that. Even though it's cool to see this universe in this animation, it would have been better if they just stick to the animation style they had then. And the story, it needed a few more rewrites until it was perfect. And probably make the mystery a little better. The movie could have been a tiny bit longer, Oh, and the music and the songs were really awesome to listen to. What should you grade this movie? I'm not sure. Would you want to watch this movie next week? No. How about next year? Not a chance. So are you gonna give this a failing grade? Since I don't absolutely hate it, I might give it a D plus. Yeah, I suppose. I wish I could give it a better grade, but this movie didn't click that well with me. Other people will have different and more positive opinions, and won't care about the flaws or anything, and will love or like this unconditionally. And I think that's awesome. Keep loving or liking this movie. Goodbye! And the cover of this movie is very misleading. Arthur never used a magnifying glass.